I'm now 74, but there really has not ever been a day that I haven't thought about him. At least once, maybe twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, or 5 times through the day.
Bruce Lee was a phenomenal martial artist and actor whose philosophy and fighting style left a legendary impact on the world.
He was a terrific athlete. He was explosively fast.
He was the Einstein of martial art.
However, recently, people who were close to him have come forward to reveal certain information about the legend. One of such people is Dan Inosanto, his closest student, training partner and lifelong friend. For decades, Inosanto had remained silent, but now he is breaking his silence. What did Inosanto reveal? And how does it change what we thought we knew about Bruce Lee? Join us as we take a deep dive into this juicy story. The shocking revelation. Dan Inosanto, born in 1936, is a renowned martial artist and one of Bruce Lee's most trusted confidants. He was instrumental in developing and teaching Jeet Kune, Lee's personal martial arts philosophy. Inosanto introduced Lee to various weapons, including the nunchaku, and appeared alongside him in the film Game of Death. For years, Inosanto refrained from speaking publicly about certain personal aspects of Lee's life, including his privacy and his roles in movies. However, in a recent interview, he opened up about their relationship, training sessions, and Lee's philosophy. This was prompted by a new movie produced by Quentin Tarantino, where the legendary martial artist and actor Bruce Lee was presented in what could only be described as an insulting light. What he revealed will shock you. Following the release of Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Dan Inosanto, who was made uncomfortable by the portrayal of Bruce Lee in the movie, came out to break his silence. Lee, who was played by Mike Moe in the film, is portrayed as an arrogant braggart who challenges Brad Pitt's character, stuntman Cliff Booth, to a fight on the set of TV show The Green Hornet, which Lee starred in real life, where he played sidekick Kato. Mosley also claimed that he would be able to cripple legendary boxer Cassius Clay.
Now, I admire Cassius Clay, I do. What I admire is, in his sport, there's an element of true combat.
Before clashing with Booth, who he initially knocks down, but is then bested by before the fight is broken up before a third round. But Dan Inosanto, who is a protege and friend of Lee, as well as a practitioner of Lee's Jeet Kune style, has said that such remarks would never have come from the movie icon, who revered Clay. In his interview with Variety, Dan went on to reveal that the deceased legend's philosophy would never have permitted him to say something like that. According to him, Bruce Lee would have never said anything derogatory about Muhammad Ali because he worshipped the ground. Muhammad Ali walked on. Inosanto went on to reveal that Bruce Lee was into boxing more so than martial arts. He was never, in my opinion, cocky. Maybe he was cocky in as far as martial arts because he was very sure of himself. He was worlds ahead of everyone else. But on a set, he's not going to show off, he had said, not hiding his admiration for his longtime friend. But that was not all. Dan Inosanto supposedly revealed one of Bruce Lee's biggest secrets that may come as a shock to many. According to Dan, Bruce Lee wasn't at a super high rank in Wing Chun like many thought him to be, and still had some work to do with that art. Dan added that, though, belts and ranks do not really paint the entire picture, and just because someone does not have a master's degree or PhD, like he puts it, doesn't necessarily mean they don't know as much. Inosanto's shocking revelations brought about a range of reactions from fans. Some appreciated the insights into Lee's life and the depth of their friendship, while others felt that certain things should have been kept private, expressing anger and disappointment over Inosanto's disclosure and the actions of the filmmakers. One fan commented, "I respect Inosanto, but some things are better left unsaid." Another wrote, "It's enlightening to hear about Bruce Lee from someone who knew him so well." Many questioned why Inosanto felt the need to speak up against the film. The reason is quite shocking. Inosanto's reassuring revelation came after Bruce Lee's daughter, Shannon Lee, slammed the directors of the film for the disrespectful light in which they had shown her dead father. In her interview with the Rap magazine, Shannon Lee revealed something even more shocking. She revealed that Quentin Tarantino did not consult the family and friends of the legendary martial artist before he created the character. She went on to say that she only wanted to raise the awareness that her father was not an arrogant man, as he was portrayed in the movie, a claim that Inosanto upheld in his interview. This leads us to the question, what was Inosanto's relationship with Bruce Lee like, and how did they meet? Stay with us as we reveal more about this. Dan Inosanto's early encounters with Bruce Lee. Inosanto met Bruce Lee in the summer of 1964 when Lee gave a demonstration at the Long Beach International Karate Championship. Inosanto was assigned to be Lee's guide by organizer Ed Parker. According to Inosanto, Ed Parker gave him $75 and said, "Make sure he eats properly and show him the area." However, nothing could have prepared Inosanto for what happened next. When they met, Lee asked Inosanto to hit him as hard as possible. In the hotel room, Bruce Lee told him he could choose everything, whether a side kick or a front kick, and he would just use his jab. Thinking it would be an easy victory, Inosanto agreed, but he soon found out he was wrong. Bruce Lee must have used a little bit more than a jab because when he knocked Inosanto out, the old-time martial artist recalled that it was little more like a hook, noting that it sort of came off the side like that. The ease in which he did it, while explaining while he was doing it, was mind-boggling for the young Inosanto. He described Bruce Lee as just really uniquely different from everybody else. He was completely flabbergasted. Bruce Lee controlled him like a baby. The brief defeat gave Inosanto sleepless nights, making him question whether everything he'd done in the past was obsolete. However, that did not stop him from growing closer to the legend. They became close friends and began to train together. Inosanto appeared on stage with Lee for demonstrations and eventually became Lee's assistant instructor at his LA martial arts school. Inosanto also began teaching physical education at Malaga Cove Intermediate School in Palos Verdes Estate, California. Their friendship grew into something heartwarming and long-lasting. In 1966, Lee asked Inosanto to be a body double in his series The Green Hornet. Inosanto played the villain Lo Sing in the episode The Praying Mantis. He went on to introduce nunchakus to Bruce Lee, who at the time thought the style was a worthless piece of junk. When he moved into the LA area, Inosanto taught him how to use it, and then Bruce Lee told Inosanto a surprising truth. He revealed that he was going to use the martial arts style in his movie, The Green Hornet. The movie widely publicized the nunchakus style, making it a popular style. But just when the popularity was growing larger, something unexpected happened. The Californian states made a new law, one which outlawed the use of nunchakus. It had become so popular that Inosanto did not see the ban coming. Yet, that did not discourage the brave duo, as Bruce Lee went on to create his own fighting style, known as Jeet, Kune, Do. Inosanto saw firsthand the development of Jeet Kune Do. It started as a practical fighting method with a foundation in Wing Chun Kung Fu, boxing, and fencing. Bruce's style was made for street survival. It had been made because he grew up fighting fights in Hong Kong on the rooftops. However, it began to change over time. Lee emphasized simplicity, directness, and discarding what did not work. He also believed it should be adapted to the student. The legend once told Inosanto that Jeet Kune Do in 1968 will be different in 1969, and 1969 Jeet Kune Do will be different from 1970, hinting at the longevity and change of the style. By 1972, Lee became so concerned that Jeet Kune Do would become a popular style that he closed down his schools and made Inosanto promise not to teach it commercially. Lee allowed him to still informally train a small number of students. In 1972, Inosanto co-starred in Lee's film The Game of Death. He took leave from his teaching job to play an eskrima expert defending the third level of a padoga. On the third level, there was supposed to be a person who was trained in weaponry, and that was the part Inosanto played. However, just as Bruce Lee was perfecting his own combat method that he called Jeet Kune Do, or the way of the intercepting fist, which combined different training methods such as kung fu, fencing, boxing, and philosophy. The unexpected happened. A tragedy which was so shocking it left everyone in disbelief took place, forever changing the lives of his loved ones, including Inosanto. Inosanto's reaction to Bruce Lee's passing. On July 20th, 1973, the world lost a legend. Bruce Lee was just 32 years old when he died suddenly in Hong Kong, sending shockwaves across the globe. His thriving career had been cut short by his sudden demise. That day, Bruce had met with actress Betty Ting Pei to discuss a film. He complained of a headache and took a painkiller called Equagesic. He laid down for a nap and never woke up. Doctors later ruled his death was due to cerebral edema, a swelling of the brain. But what truly caused that swelling remains a mystery. Some say it was an allergic reaction to the painkiller. Others blame heat stroke or underlying health issues. Conspiracy theories even suggested foul play and assassination. But those close to him, like Dan Inosanto, focus less on the mystery and more on the legacy. Bruce Lee's passing was a massive blow to Inosanto and left him in a state of shock. He served as a pallbearer at Lee's funeral. In his interview, Inosanto recalled wondering how his longtime friend could pass away at such a young age. However, he came to accept the reality of Bruce Lee's death, saying that it does happen, so he had learned to cope with and deal with it.
I'm doing a seminar for Carl and his group here and some of my students here. And I'm going to center it mainly around the Junfan martial arts, so the JKD, Indonesian and Malaysian and Filipino, maybe a little bit of Thai.
Though the circumstances surrounding it always puzzled him. At the age of 74, Inosanto once again revealed that there has not ever been a day that he hasn't thought about his deceased friend at least once, maybe twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, or 5 times, even to this day. Following Bruce Lee's passing, Dan Inosanto made a shocking decision. Inosanto stopped teaching physical education in 1975 and started to teach martial arts full-time. In 1976, he certified his training partner Richard Bustillo as senior instructor in Jeet Kune Do. In 1977, he taught players on the Dallas Cowboys how to incorporate martial arts. Inosanto became upset that so-called experts were making money by teaching Jeet Kune Do. Inosanto fought against this by starting the Inosanto Academy of Martial Arts, teaching JKD concepts, along with a blend of Filipino martial arts such as Kali, Eskrima, Kuntao, and Silat. He felt this was the direction Lee was headed and continued to stress the importance of individualized training. He taught many famous students, including Diana Lee Inosanto, his daughter and actress Brandon Lee, actor and son of Bruce Lee, Jerry Poteet, and Paul Vunak, Life page 484. He also released a series of training videos on mixed martial arts, Silat, Thai boxing, sticks, Kali, Jeet Kune Do, MMA, boxing, and weapons disarms. Dan once said Bruce gave everything, his mind, his body, his spirit. He paid the price for pushing beyond the limits. Bruce Lee didn't live long, but he lived full. And in just 32 years, he changed martial arts and cinema forever. The legacy of Jeet Kune Do. In the world of martial arts, Dan Inosanto is a repository of history, as well as history in the making. Most known as Bruce Lee's training partner, confidant, and the most highly ranked by Lee in his own personal art of Jeet Kune Do, Inosanto's martial background spans years both before and after his time with the iconoclastic legend. Dan Inosanto's first introduction to Japanese martial arts began as a boy, studying combat judo from an uncle who returned from World War II. Because of his father's respected position within the Filipino-American community in and around Stockton, California, Inosanto was afforded the opportunity to study and train with several of the masters his father befriended and helped. On January 10, 1996, Linda Lee formed The Nucleus, inviting former students to preserve Lee's Jeet Kune Do. Inosanto came to the first meeting, but declined to join. This created a division between Nucleus members who strictly followed Lee's originally techniques and concept members like Inosanto, who wanted to evolve Jeet Kune Do. In 1996, Inosanto was named the Black Belt Magazine Man of the Year. And in 2012, he was interviewed for the documentary I Am Bruce Lee. He has been instrumental in spreading Filipino martial arts, including Silat, which may have otherwise disappeared. He became vice president of Lameco International, which promotes the Filipino martial art of eskrima. He became an authority on Jeet Kune Do and spread its teaching throughout the world, and at the same time evolved it to incorporate Filipino martial arts. Over the years, in addition to studying with dozens of masters of Southeast Asian martial arts, Inosanto has also researched several grappling styles such as Japanese Shudo, freestyle wrestling, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. In recent years, after a meeting arranged by one of his students, legendary action director and fight choreographer Jeff Imada, Inosanto began meeting with Haruo Matsuoka of Ikazuchi Dojo to study Aikido. In his interview, Inosanto revealed that the first time he saw an Aikido demo was with Bruce Lee. Inosanto emphasized that Jeet Kune Do was not just a fighting style but a philosophy of personal expression and adaptability. He explained how Lee believed in absorbing what is useful, discarding what is not, and adding what is uniquely one's own. This philosophy has influenced countless martial artists and continues to be a subject of study and practice worldwide. Fans fiercely loyal to Lee's image were left both intrigued and furious by Inosanto's unflinching honesty. One of the most enduring myths about Bruce Lee is that he was an invincible fighter capable of defeating anyone in combat. However, Inosanto's perspective reveals a more nuanced reality. Bruce Lee was not invincible. Inosanto explained, he was human, like all of us. While Lee's extraordinary skills and lightning-fast reflexes were undeniable, Inosanto pointed out that even Lee acknowledged his limitations. Lee's philosophy of Jeet Kune Do emphasized adaptability and learning from every encounter. This meant that he understood the importance of losing as a way to grow. Inosanto recounted sparring sessions where Lee would intentionally place himself in disadvantageous positions to test his ability to recover and adapt. This was the hallmark of Lee's genius. Not that he was unbeatable, but that he was constantly learning how to overcome challenges. Many fans believed that Bruce Lee's skills were rooted solely in traditional martial arts disciplines like Wing Chun. However, Inosanto revealed that Lee's approach was far more eclectic and forward-thinking. He also debunked the notion that Lee dismissed all traditional practices, while Lee was critical of martial arts systems that prioritized form over function. He deeply respected the foundational principles of styles like Wing Chun and Tai Chi. One other common misconception is that Bruce Lee's incredible abilities were purely innate, the result of natural talent rather than hard work. Inosanto was quick to dispel this myth, pointing out the years of work the legend put in. Inosanto's accounts and his decision to speak up shed some light on Bruce Lee's human side, showing his struggles, insecurities, and relentless pursuit of perfection. These stories painted a more comprehensive picture of Lee, not just as a martial arts icon, but as a man with strengths and vulnerabilities. Dan Inosanto's decision to speak out has opened new discussions about Bruce Lee's life and legacy. For Dan, speaking up wasn't just about correcting the story, it was about protecting the truth, about honoring a friend who could no longer speak for himself. Inosanto trained with Bruce day in, day out. He saw the sweat, the pain, the passion. And to him, the idea that Bruce would act like a clownish show-off was not only wrong, it was insulting to everything Bruce stood for. Dan Inosanto wasn't just a student of Bruce Lee. He is one of the last living links to Bruce's personal world, his philosophies, his discipline, his private life. When Dan spoke, it gave weight to what fans had been feeling, that Bruce Lee's legacy deserves accuracy, not mockery. While some fans are upset, others find value in these personal insights. In a world where legends can be rewritten by Hollywood scripts, Dan Inosanto chose truth. He chose to be loyal to the reality of his friend. And for that, Bruce Lee fans will forever be grateful. What do you think of Dan Inosanto's decision to speak up for Bruce Lee? Do you think he was right to reveal that Lee was not at the peak of martial arts? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.